Hello, this is Denisa, and welcome to the second part of my Flutter video series. In this video, I'm going to show we're going to begin to program this app right here. It's built, it's a build for web, but it's also built for Android. But in any case, in this video, we're going to start learning about Flutter layout by making this right here. So this is an app called Color Switch. Quite simple. There are two widgets, two colors, and once you click the button, they switch places, and that's pretty much it. But it's a good stepping stone to what we're going to make later. Right. So to begin, we're going to navigate to your working directory and do flutter create to create base of the app. If I'm doing this through the command line because I like using that with a combination of the Visual Studio Code to code in Flutter, but if you want to, you can also use Android Studio and can easily make the app through the UI using new Flutter project or something. It's quite simple. And once you've got the base of the app set up, you can navigate to the code and main Dart. And this is the demo project that I showed in the last video. That is automatically included with the base of the application when you first make it. And we're just going to delete all of that and going to start making the layout for this app right here. And so we're going to start with creating the most simple base for every application, every Flutter application there is. So start to import package Flutter material Dart. This is the Flutter material library, and basically you're going to essentially need it in every app. And the void main function, which runs the app, of course. This is the language Dart, which is very similar to JavaScript. So if you've got experience in that, you'll find this a breeze. And we're going to do a function called run app, and we're going to run a function, which is the app itself, called material app, and is going to run. It has a property of home. Again, every Flutter, everything in everything in Flutter is a widget, and so with properties, and everything here that you see is a widget, including the app itself. So base is material app with the property home, and in the home we're going to return another widget, and we're going to make a stateless widget. So stick with me now, but you can do this in Android Studio as well. If you type stateless and do tab, you'll get basically the wrapper for what you call a stateless widget. This is I'm going to explain this later once we get into stateful widgets, but just know that this is basically a base widget, one of the base widgets, and we're gonna call it color switch. You can also name it anything you like, of course. And we're going to run that inside our material app as a part of the property home. So right here, again, this is the widget for the app, and this is the widget for everything that you see here. So again, Flutter is just a bunch of widgets with properties that have widgets in them, and so we've got nothing just yet. So we've got an app, but it's got nothing inside it right now, so we won't see anything if we run the app. So what we're going to do is we're going to return a scaffold, and that's going to be the base, the complete base of your app, and you'll see in a minute. But you can this scaffold with an app bar, and it's going to have an app bar, and this will return everything you see here. This, not everything, I mean the base. If you strip the title, if you strip this blue and red square, and you strip button, you're going to see the very base of an app. And to run the app, and I'm going to run it using Chrome as a web build, but you can also connect this to your phone or set up an Android emulator to test the app if you would like to do that. Okay, so once you've got your app running, it'll take quite a bit of time to compile and build the first time. But once you've got it running, there you go, there it is. So this is what you see here. This is the app bar widget, and this is the scaffold. This white thing you see, and that's it really. That's all you need to take the base of an app. And I'm just gonna do this here so we can see both screens at the same time, I suppose. Right, and you want to have the title of the app bar. So inside the app bar widget, you can have the property of title, and inside the title property, you can have the text widget, and it's going to have a text color switch or anything, but that's the name of the app we're making. A comma, so you can have another property when you add it. You save, it'll hot reload, and it'll rebuild the application. You can see the title right there. And say if we want to make this title in the center, you can just put the text widget inside a center widget. We can do that by doing center and having text as a child property. And of course we need the second bracket. And then you can save that to rebuild the application again, and now it's in the center. Now there's one thing I'd like to do with this app bar, and that is get rid of this shadow here. And you can do that using the property called elevation. If you do elevation, and it takes double precision float. So let's do 0.0. Sorry, that's actually inside center. So we want that as a property of scaffold, not, of course, not app bar, not center. So, and then if you save that, you will see the shadow gone, and that's it. Right. So what we want next is to have the red square and the blue square and the button in there, right? And we're going to start with the button. So the body inside this the scaffold can be accessed through the body property, and we can return a we're gonna called a flat button. That's what you use. And the flat button, as you can see this with the squiggly line here, that means it's lacking a property, and the properties it's lacking is the content of the button, the child. Of course, you can't just have an empty floating button that you can't click, and an on press property, which which is the function that triggers when you press it. So let's do an onPress property. And for now, we can actually just leave it blank because we just want to get the layout down for now. So let's have a child. We can do a container. So we want perhaps some text. So inside the container, you can also have a child. Again, it's widgets with properties. You can have a text widget. We're just gonna call it switch. And we can run that and see what that looks like. And you can see this. This is a button. See, you can't really see that it's a button, but so you hover it, you can see the container outside it, including the text. So what we want to do is, of course, put some color inside it so you can see it. And the container has, in fact, a color property. We can put a color on it, and it takes in colors, and we can say blue, right? And you'll see a color there. Just wait for it to load. You can see the loading times here. Again, this process will be slightly different if you're, of course, using Android Studio, but be the same. All right, you can see this very wraps around the text like that. So what we want to do is give it some padding. So space inside the container, not outside. If you're familiar with stuff like HTML, CSS, you'll be very familiar with that. So we can do padding, and in padding accepts an edge insets widget. So that's also sorry, you can see here that edge insets takes this is like how much space that it is like controlling. So you can do all, which is space equally on all sides, or from left, top, right, bottom. So you can have different measurements on the padding. But I'm going to do all, and I'm gonna say, let's see, about perhaps 10. You can try that. You can always adjust the numbers afterwards. And let's see, there you go. It's a bit better. So what I want to do now is perhaps I want to make the text a bit nicer. It's just a black and plain right now. Maybe I want it to match the app bar. So what I'm gonna do is text can have a style property. So it can, for example, text style, and this is the style property. Sorry, you need a comma before that, of course. And it can take in a couple of inputs. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give it a color. It's going to be colored white. And you can also have font size and font weight, which is bold, italics, etc. I'm going to give it font size of 20. And I'm going to give it a font weight that takes the widget font weight bold. You can see that even font weight is a class. If you restart that, you'll see the button's text will look a bit better. Right, it's a bit bold now. It will stand out more and such. So maybe I want it to look, the button doesn't look so great right now with just a box. Maybe I want it to have round edges, and of course you can do that. The flat button takes a shape property, and I'm going to give it a rounded rectangle border widget. Rounded rectangle border. It's going to have a border radius. This is how round the edges are. And it's going to be about, let's say, 20. And then it's going to have, you need to also do the side, what the border actually looks like. And it's going to have the border side. It's going to have it's going to be solid, let's say, border style solid, and the color is going to, of course, this is the so if you actually if you save and restart right now, you can see what the button currently looks like. Right, so what we need to do is fill in this empty white hole and make this match the color. So the border side needs to have a color that matches, which is the color blue. So colors blue. And to fill in this white gap, what we need to do is add a color inside the button itself, actually. And we're going to say colors blue, and hopefully now will look like a nice blue button. And it's complete. So what we want to do is place it inside the center, right? So we're going to put flat button inside a center widget. Using if you're using Visual Studio Code or Android Studio, there's this plugin will show up where you can just wrap it with another widget, and in this case it's going to be center, and there you go, our widget is right there. So what do we do when but it's not the only widget that is inside this app, right? We want the red and blue square so that we can actually click switch for. So what we do is I'm gonna undo that last action, and inside the body we're going to place the button inside a column that we can place the widgets onto. So again, I'm going to use this gonna use another widget called column. This is like one of this is a layout widget, just and the opposite, I suppose you'd call it row, which would place the objects in a horizontal manner. And going to just tab this, of course, so it looks neat. And we need the closing bracket for the column. Sorry, wait. What happens with the column is that it takes does not take a flat button directly. What you need to do is it accepts a children property. So like child, and then it takes a list of widgets. Sorry, you need to do list widget, and then then flat button will be the first member in the list, and you need to the ending brackets, of course. Right, and just tab that out so that it looks neat. Or it's complaining about something. Sorry, you don't need to include the actually. Right? And we should actually place this a bit further. This flat button tab. Maybe yes. Let's keep it like that. Keeping your code nice and readable is nice too. So what happens now? It's still on the top left, but it will take another widget on top. So we can place a widget here. It's called container. So we can place one of our squares. And simply going to have color and some padding. So let's do color first, and let's say colors red, of course, and it's going to have, if you just put the color in, it's just container for color, so it won't look like anything. So we're going to have padding, and can do edge in sets all, and we need a value. Let's say 50.0, and a container of color red, just a red square looks like, will appear above this button. And so this is what happens when you put it inside a column. You can put in so what we can do is, I mean, if you want another square, can do put it inside a row, a widget, which will also take a children property, and the container is also going to be inside that list of children. Tab this. Alright, and close that, and close that. Alright, and we're going to have another container inside that row. So this is horizontally while the column is vertically. And we're going to also have, it's going to be the same size but a different color. So we can have padding, edge, insets all, 50, color, colors, blue. We're going to have two squares. They're probably going to, now see, once you have two widgets, it's not going to stretch out and take up the entire screen. So now we're gonna make it look neat. It looks kind of like a mess right now, right? What we're going to do is we're going to align these rows. So first, on row, we have this thing called cross-axis and main axis alignment. Main axis alignment goes, so in a row, main axis is of course horizontal, and the cross-axis alignment is vertical. So we want to center it, we will do main axis alignment, and it'll take main axis alignment, and you have several. You can use center and space around between space evenly, but what we're going to do is put it on the center. What that's going to do is put these two squares in the center. Alright, so it looks more like it's starting to look more like our app now. They're in the center, and now we want to put the column in the center too. So we're going to do main axis alignment. Remember, if it's main axis alignment goes the direction that the column or row is going. So if we wanted to align the column on here, here, or here, we'd have to do cross-axis alignment. And we're going to center it again. And now it's in the center. So what we want to do now is put some space between this these two squares and the switch button. We can do that with what you You can either space it, of course, but you can also place basically an invisible widget between them. So it just looks like some space. And we can do that with the help of a size box. And we're going to have height of about 50 pixels. And we're going to see that it has some space between them now. Alright, so that looks like our website. Sorry, the color switch, right? And right now, of course, we don't have a switch property, but that's going to be covered in the next video. So for now, basically learned about the layout, basic scaffold, and how to place multiple widgets on the screen. And that's pretty much it. On the next, we're going to cover how to get these two switched and how to actually have some functionality in our button. But for now, thank you for watching.